Good evening once again, fellow flight simmers and cockpit builders. So here's the story. Yesterday, I tried to do a live stream explaining how to connect all these 7 segment displays, the TM1637 and the Max7219. And well, the short story is it was just short of a mitigated disaster because it's very complicated when you try to explain these things live, and I need to be switching between the website and different pictures, and I'm trying to show the simulator and my test panel at the same time. So sometimes things don't work out as good as we wish they would when we're actually practicing it. So I decided to just go ahead and try to do this all over again today, not live. And I'm gonna edit it up and I'm gonna cut it up and do whatever I need to do to make it be more concise and hopefully clear. And hopefully this will help explain. A lot of people seem to be contacting me, and one of the things that I noticed the most is that most people are having like real problems connecting these 7 segment displays. All of the ones that I have on my test panel and the only one that I'm using on my home cockpit setup is working fine. It's been working fine since the beginning, but I see a lot of people are having very, very hard times connecting these. So hopefully this explanation that I give today will be the last one that I need to record, and hopefully more than anything it will make it clear for everybody. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my face off of here and we'll get started with this presentation. Alright, so first things first, I created this document here because I was trying to do it in a I guess you can say drawing it in Microsoft Paint or some kind of painting program, and it's not as easy to get everything lined up and everything the way I wanted it to. So I decided to use an actual drawing that I made on my kitchen table to try to clear this up. So the problem with this one here, this one includes using an output multiplexer and using what I call my data bus distribution hub, which is up here. So obviously not everybody's going to want to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the basics, and then we'll work our way up to this one here. Alright, so we'll get started with this one here. So this is assuming that you do not want to use my data hub distribution or my system bus, and that you do not want to use any multiplexers. So this is assuming that you just want to do it directly to the Arduino. Okay, so the 3 lines that you're gonna need to hook up these 2 different types of displays are the T line and the D line and the L line. So the LDT lines, those are the ones you're gonna need. And those, I put it up here. Hopefully it's a little bit clearer to see this. So the L line is pin number 27 on the Arduino, the D line is 28, and the T line is number 29. So we'll start with the very basics because that's going to be the same for every type of display. You're going to basically connect the voltage and the ground. Obviously the ground is going to go to the common ground, and then the voltage is going to go to the 5 volts. Now I like to use one of these little power rails that we use for the prototyping boards, the breadboards. So I just bring in my 5 volts and my ground either directly from the Arduino or directly from another separate power supply. But like I've mentioned before many times, if you are going to use a lot of displays, you'll need a different power supply separately from the Arduino. You don't want to be drawing all that power just from the Arduino. But if you're only going to use a couple of them, I would say maybe a maximum of 6 of them. And don't quote me on that. I'm not exactly sure what the limit is. You would have to go in and see how much each one draws, in amps, and then add them all together to make sure that you don't go over the, I think it's like 300 milliamps that you can draw off of the Arduino directly. But anyway, so after you have your voltage and your grounds connected to your displays, you can join all the grounds and all the voltage ones together, like I've said before. So even if you have 5 displays, you can daisy chain all the grounds and then just take one of them to the main ground, or you can daisy chain all your voltage lines and then take one of them to the power rail. And you know, doesn't matter what kind of display it is. All right. So now we'll go ahead and get started with the TM1637 because it's easier. And this could be either the 4 or the 6 digits. So you already have your voltage and your ground connected. So the next one is going to be the DIO. The DIO needs to go on the T line. So that's going to be pin number 29 on the Arduino. So basically you're just going to take your DIO line, and if you have another display that you want to connect, like let's say you're going to use 2 or 3 TM1637s, you can link up all the T lines that go to the DIO pin all together, and then you're going to just take one of them. And I put a piece of paper here, but just imagine this is a continuous line. You're going to take all of them and you're going to go to pin number 29 on the Arduino with one of them, but they're all going to be linked together, okay? And then you're going to take the clock signal here, and from what I understand, if you're going to go directly to the Arduino pins, you don't need to put a resistor on this. You're just going to take the clock line and you're going to go to whatever pin you're going to assign it to between 30 and 37. But just remember, with these kind of with the clock signal, each one of them needs to be separate because each one of them is going to go to one pin. You cannot combine this one here, okay? The clock signal. So you're going to take the other clock signal from your other display. Let's say you have a 4-digit and a 6-digit, and you're going to take that one directly to whatever pin you assign it to. And remember, only pins 30 to 37 can go directly to the Arduino. So if you are planning to use more than, what is it, 8 displays, then you have no other option but to use a multiplexer, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. And I'm going to make these pictures available on my Google Photos album. So I'll just go ahead and put them on there so that if anybody wants to go download them and look at them, you know, take your sweet time looking at them, then they'll be available right there so you can look at them. Alright, now for the Max7219, this one is a little bit different. And just judging by what I've been going through the last couple of days, I'm really beginning not to like these. You know, I'm thinking that the TM1637 is much easier to work with and they're less temperamental. But anyway, so once again, you connect your voltage line and your ground line to the voltage and the ground. The DIN is going to go to the D line. So you're going to take that one, you're going to go all the way to pin number 28 on the Arduino. Like I said, that's only if you're going to use one display only, or maybe just a couple of them and you can combine the line. So from the CS line, you're going to take that one and you're going to take that one to the L line. So you're going to just take that one all the way to the Arduino to pin number 27. Okay? And once again, if you're going to be going directly to the Arduino, you only have one opening for pin number 27 and 28 and 29. So that's why I really recommend that you use a little hub the way I do it. And alright, so now the clock signal, that's the one that's going to go to the pin that you want to assign a Max7219. So if you're going to go to, let's say just pin number 30, you're going to take the clock line and you're going to go, and I just realized that I covered up the rest of the line right here, but so you're going to take the clock line and you're going to go directly to the Arduino to pin number 30, if that's where you decided to put it. So that's all it takes. It's going to be the voltage to the 5-volt supply, the ground to the ground, the D in, which I think is data in, is going to go to the pin the D line, which is pin 28. The CS is going to go to the L line, which is pin number 27, and the clock is going to go directly to the Arduino board to a pin between 30 and 37. And that's it. Now, once again, if you are not going to a multiplexer board, you don't need to worry about this resistor that's going to ground. Okay? So, that's it for that. Now we're going to go ahead and switch over to the one that, let's say you didn't want to use a multiplexer, but you did want to use the system hub, which is what I call my little invention here. Alright, so everything stays the same right here. The only difference is that when you're using a hub, remember you're going to bring pins number 22 through 29, and you're going to bring them over to this little hub right here, and you're going to connect them to one of the pins up here for each line. And then any displays or anything else that you connect to this, you're going to connect it to all these other on the same row right here. So basically you'll be able to add for each little hole that you have on your little distribution hub, you'll be able to add one display or one output multiplexer or input multiplexer. So this is what gives you the ability to multiply basically the pins that are here, the 22 through 29, and it makes it a lot easier to work with. That's why I always recommend that if you're gonna anything complex that you want to make for your home cockpit, you really need to have a distribution system to be able to connect multiple things. It's really hard to do it on just the one set of pins on the Arduino on 22 through 29. So remember, when you brought everything else stays the same. The only thing that's going to change, that instead of now taking the L, the D, and the T lines all the way to the Arduino, you're going to take them to right here. And then from here, with the other wires that you have connected going to the Arduino pins, that's when they're going to make their connection right there. And it's not visible in this picture, but it will be visible in the other one, because I have the the little wires up here that I forgot to put for this picture. So let's go ahead and go to that one now. So this is what I mean right here. This is a complete picture. This is what's going to include everything. But so basically you're going to take the wires from 22 through 29, you're going to bring them out and branch them out to here, and then everything else that you connect here, including multiplexers, they're going to be connected to here. So just for an example, on this one, if you connect these wires on the very first row, you'll be able to connect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more multiplexers or displays. And you can always branch out from here to another one of these to multiply it again. So you know, Vlad and Roman from SimVim Cockpit, they don't really recommend that you do things like this with prototype boards, and you know, they recommend that if it's going to be something that you're leaving permanent, you should solder it together, because obviously it's more secure connections. With these, you always have the possibility that maybe something is not making contact very good, or that, you know, they might come out. If you move something around, they might just come out of their little holes, and then you're going to be trying to find out what the problem is. And you know, as I mentioned before, what the problems that I was having yesterday when I was doing the live stream, it's kind of incredible, because I was playing around with it all morning long trying to get ready to do the live stream, and I had tested everything. I have tried it over and over and over, and everything was working good. But in the process of getting it to work, I did have to move some stuff around of my wiring, and when the time came to do the recording, one of my displays didn't want to work no matter what. Like, I tried everything that I had done 20 times earlier that day, and it just wouldn't work. So trust me when I tell you that 99.9% of the problems that you are going to encounter is going to be wiring problems. So but I'm just doing this, you know, to test things out. I'm switching stuff around all the time, so that's why I'm using prototyping boards, breadboards, and you know, I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I'm not doing anything permanent right now, so therefore I'm not really soldering everything together yet. But just keep that in mind for whenever you are building your project. You know, you actually solder it together when it's gonna stay there. Okay, so for this one here, we're gonna add a multiplexer board now. So here's the deal. You can still connect displays directly to the Arduino to pins number 30 and 37, but now let's say you use up all the pins 30 to 37 and you still want to add more displays. So the way you can do it is you add an output multiplexer board. Okay, so one of these boards, and you know the instructions are all on the website, um, probably much better than I can even describe here, but you're basically going to take the S0, S1, S2, and S3 data lines, and you're going to bring them over to the multiplexer board, and they have the labels right there. You know what they're for. So you're going to connect them right there, and then the Z line, which is called the signal line, you're going to take that one and you're going to take that one to the signal line on your data bus distribution hub, which is pin number 26. So you're going to take the signal line and you're going to bring it right here. Okay, and then you're going to take the EN line on the little MUX board, and that's the one that's going to go to a pin on the Arduino. So whatever pin, wherever you want to assign an output multiplexer, that's where you're going to take that wire from the EN. And the next one, the voltage and the ground, the same thing as everything else. You're going to take it to the common 5-volt rail and the common ground rail. Okay, so that's pretty much how you add a multiplexer. And I have other videos describing how to do that too, and I think between all the videos that I've made, everything should come together so that, you know, all these different parts can be understandable. Alright, so now we're going to pretend here that we're going to add this 6-digit TM1637, but we're going to add it to the multiplexer now. We're not going to add it directly to the Arduino. So all the other 3 lines are the same. The voltage, the ground, and the DIO, which goes to the T line, is still the same. The only difference is that the clock line, which if you're going to an MUX board, a multiplexer, you're going to have to put that 1 to 3 ohm or kilo ohm resistor going to ground. Okay, and then you're going to basically, instead of going this way to the Arduino, you're going to go this way, and you're going to take that one to a pin on the multiplexer board, and that will be whatever pin you assigned a TM1637. And we're going to go over, you know, how to assign the different displays also in a little while. Okay, so that's for the TM1637. Now for the Max7219, we're going to pretend that we're going to do the bottom one here, because that's the one that I put the option here. Actually, the top one is going to be to ground, is going to be directly to the multiplexer, so we'll just pretend that we're going to do both of them. So once again, you can combine the voltage, the ground, and the D in and the CS lines, which is the D line and the L line. You can combine them between all the displays of the same type that you have. So even if you have 4 Max7219s, you can combine all the voltage grounds and then just take one to voltage, combine all the grounds and take one of them to ground, and you can combine all the D lines, which go to the DIN, and take them all together, one of them to the hub, and you can combine all the L lines, which go to the CS, and take one of them to the distribution hub. The only one that's going to be separate always is the clock signal, because that's the one that's going to drive this individual display. So you take the clock and you're going to put a 1 to 3 kilo ohm resistor to ground, and then you're going to take that one to whichever pin you assigned on the multiplexer, and it has to be, of course, an output multiplexer, not an input multiplexer. And same thing for the other one. You're going to take the clock signal, put a 1 to 3 kilo ohm resistor to ground, and then you're going to take that one, but this time instead of going directly to the Arduino, you're going to go to the multiplexer, to whatever pin you assign. Alright, so all of this you're going to see right now that we're going to go to my setup and we're going to configure it. You're going to see all of that right now as we do it, but you're not going to see my wiring mess, because I figured that showing you guys that wiring was way more confusing than I think this drawing is. So remember, I'll have this drawing in my Google Photos album where I have all the other pictures of my project. Alright, so hopefully this will clear a lot of things up for a lot of people. Alright, I'm inside the ZBoard 737 once again here. Let me just put on some lights so that it can be a little bit more visible here. Alright, and I'm gonna show you this is the view for the displays right now that I have on my test panel. So this one right here, which has all the 8s in it right now, I'm not sure why, but when I just connect the test panel and everything and I bring it online, this is the only one that comes up with digits in it. So this is a Max7219, which is the only one I have. This is a TM1637 with the 4 digits. It's a smaller one. And then this is another 1637 with 4 digits, but the bigger one. And this one's the same. And the bottom one is a 6-digit TM1637. So these 4 are 1637s. This one is a Max7219. And now we go to the configurator. I'm going to take you through the whole process of assigning the displays in the configurator, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and open up my data configuration file that I have, which is partially filled in already, and I have a list of where I connected all my displays so that way I could make it easier. So these 3 over here are connected to a multiplexer board that is on pin number 14 on the Arduino. So we're going to go ahead and assign the output multiplexer first, and then we're going to assign the 3 displays to that. So come back over here. So we come to pin number 14, and we're going to tell it that we want to add a multiplexer for 7 segment. So we go ahead and do that. Now we go inside here. Oh look, for some reason there was still 1 right there, but let's pretend that there wasn't. I'm not sure why it's still there. I had already deleted it. So right now we need to tell it I have the 2 4-digit ones on pin number 5 and number 10, and I have the 6-digit one on pin number 15. So we need to tell it that on pin number 5 we want to connect a 7-segment display. It's going to be a TM1637, but it's a 4-digit. So and just for the heck of it, we're going to tell it that we want to control the brightness with the brightness knob number 1, because I do have one of those assigned. So I'll go ahead and confirm that, and you can see right here that I have this on analog 0 I have brightness 1 control. Okay, so now we're going to go back to 14 number 10. We're going to connect another 7-segment display, 4-digit 1637, and we're going to control the brightness the same with a brightness knob number 1. You don't have to do this, you know, but it's just if you do want to control the brightness of them, and I'll show you how that works in a little bit. So go ahead and confirm that. And finally we'll go to number 15, another segment display, and we're going to use the 6-digit TM1637, and we're going to control the brightness with number 1 and confirm. Okay, so now that we have those 3, we need to put the other 2 that are basically the ones that are over here. This one right here is on number 35 directly on the Arduino, and this one over here is on number 30 directly on the Arduino. So remember, this is a 1637 4-digit, and this is a Max7219, which I have only been able to find in 8 digits. So go back to our configurator here, and on number 30, remember the only ones that you can assign a 7-segment display directly to the Arduino is on the yellow ones right here. Now after the new version of the configurator comes out in I don't know how long, they said very soon, hopefully this will not change and make this video completely useless again. So let's see how it goes. But so number 30, you see how you have all these options, but we want to connect a 7-segment display to it. So we'll select that. It's going to be a TM1637, but it's going to be a 4-digit, and we want to control the brightness with the same knob. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we're going to go to number 35, connect 7-segment display. This is going to be a Max7219, and we want to control the brightness with number 1 and confirm. Alright, so now we have all our displays configured. So now we just have to decide what we want to put on them. So before we go any further, I'm going to save this configuration file, because I've noticed that sometimes when you go to the old configurator for the airplanes, it wipes it out and then you have to reload it. So I wanted to make sure that I save it before I went any further. So yeah, you see, it just wiped it out. So I'll just go ahead and open my configuration file, and that's very interesting. It didn't save. Yeah, it didn't save none of my things. Okay, let me refresh the page, because that's really weird. Huh. Okay, well, I guess I gotta do it all over again, but I'm gonna do it a little bit faster this time. Oh no, they are saved. Oh, okay, so this is very interesting. So you see it's saved that I have these displays in here, but it didn't save that I had an output multiplexer there, and it didn't save that I had the one on number 30 and 35. So it's just weird. It's acting really weird. So we're gonna go ahead and connect the 4-digit one there, and we'll add the Max7219 right there. Okay, so now everything should be in place. So what we're gonna do now is we'll start with the number 30. So let's decide what we want to put on number 30. I'm gonna say we're gonna put the heading. We'll do everything from the autopilot here. So we'll put the heading on a 7-segment display, and we'll put it on number 30. And then for the Max7219, let's do the altitude for that one. 7-segment display, new entry, and we're done. Alright, so when you see a parenthesis with a number, that tells you how many functions assignments you have in it already. So if you add like 2 or 3 different functions for each one, you'll see a number 2 or number 3 or whatever number is right there. But right now we only have 1. So for number 5 over here on the output multiplexer, we're gonna put, let's go ahead and put course 1 7-segment display on number 5, and then let's go ahead and put course 2 7-segment display on number 10. Okay, and for the big one on the bottom, we'll just go ahead and put altitude as well. So we'll go ahead and put altitude 14, number 15, new entry, done. Alright, so now all our displays have been configured and saved, hopefully. Hopefully this thing doesn't disappoint right now. So now we'll go ahead and go to our simulator, and we're gonna go ahead and refresh or reload the configuration, and hopefully all the displays, you know, will come alive as soon as I do this. Okay, they did. So right here we have the altitude. Over here we have the same altitude because we put the same function on both of these, even though this is a Max7219 and that is a TM1637. And then this is the heading, this is the course for the captain, and the course for the co-pilot. So I don't remember if I have any of those. I think I do have these right here, so I could change the course here, and you can see the course on the Zibo is changing and it matches what's right there. And this one right here, I do not have the course programmed to that one there, but I can do it by hand, and you can see that it is changing in the ZBO and in my display. Now for the altitude, I believe I did have this one programmed, so let me try that. Yeah, so it's changing good, so that's cool. It's working fine. Both of them are matching. And for the heading, I'll just go ahead and do it by hand over here, since I don't have this encoder program to do that. So I'll go ahead and do that right there. Yep, and it's working. So this time everything worked fine. The only thing I wanted to show you guys is the brightness. So I have this potentiometer for the brightness. So if I move it, you can see that all the displays get brighter or they get dimmer as I move it. So actually that's a little too bright. If you go to the maximum, you can see on the red ones that it's even blaring out the camera. So I find that not the lowest, but somewhere near, like right there, is a pretty good compromise right there. About a third of the way up. Seems to work pretty good. But so yeah, that's how everything is done. I don't think that there's anything else that I need to go over on 7-segment displays. We pretty much covered how to wire them, how to assign them functions, and also how to change the brightness. The only other thing is, if you want to do that for the brightness, you do need to have a potentiometer. I'll go back to the configurator here. So if you want to do the brightness, you do need to have a potentiometer assigned to one of the brightness control. And in order to do that, you can go to you got to close all the maps. Oh, see, now that's not going to let me do it because now this is on the other one. So I'm pretty sure all this is going to be brought together soon, but let me go ahead and go to the other one and see if it actually saved everything this time. So I'll go ahead and load my configuration file. Oh yeah, it looks like it saved all my displays and everything, so that's good. Now if you go to there's a brightness and power tab right here on the top. That's where you can select the brightness control knobs, so you can have up to 10 of them to control different things that you want to adjust the brightness for. So I selected one, so basically I just clicked on this one and I put that it's an analog axis, but you could do it with an encoder, you can do it with buttons or a toggle switch, I guess, if you want to go to max brightness and the lowest brightness, I guess. So yeah, so I would think that either an encoder or an analog is the best one. So if you put analog like the way I did, you just have to go select one of the analog pins, which is A0 through A15, and then that's where I put it, and that's how you would do that. Alright, so I guess that's gonna be it for this video. I think I finally managed to make what I consider to be a pretty complex subject somewhat short. Yeah, hopefully this one cleared up a lot of those problems that you guys have been having. Other than this, when you guys tell me that you have a problem that you can't get it to work, without actually seeing your wiring, I really don't know what else to tell you. I mean, there's everything is laid out perfectly well on the SimVim website, which I highly recommend everybody has read, through all the different parts that you need to for whatever components or you want to put into your home cockpit. But other than that, I think that's all I got regarding this subject. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next one.